And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to the Legion of Chaos, where just like the title of the podcast episode suggests, we are coming back from hiatus because it's been a while since the last podcast episode, and we are here to pick back up on the Hunter x Hunter podcast. This is part two. Today we have Chemist and Abba.
Hello.
Abba, feel free to say hello.
What's up?
So overall, I think like I'm also multitasking right here, but just to go ahead and talk about let's talk about just to start, how things are going right now because I think it's worth pointing out the updates and everything with the writer's health and all, and how he's trying to get to the next 10 chapters, but like he's been having complications and everything. So
hmm
if everyone wants to discuss uh talk about that, go ahead, because I think like it's important we talk about what we think is going to be the future for Hunter x Hunter, given like given like everyone, the fandom has been waiting so long for it to come back, uh but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously excited. Like I remember like first hearing the news and like double checking everything. Like, is this actually real? Because I've seen too many fake things. Like, is this actually like is he actually working with this? Like, is this confirmed? I was very excited, but like it's also one of those things as well. Like I do care about his like physical and mental health, and I don't want him to like really like I know how much he wants to finish it. I don't want him to overexert himself to try to finish it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think like that's especially important because like it's one thing we all 100% want the manga to continue. We want the anime to pick back up,
Yeah.
but like his health should be the main priority, and like making sure that he's all right. Like it, Tagashi, yeah, just like yeah, his name, Tagashi is like has been going through hard, and I know he's like passionate, and his wife did say she doesn't want to do it. She can't replicate his style. She doesn't feel comfortable picking it up for him. So
Yeah.
that comes to question like who, if there is anyone uh who can absolutely pick it up for him, who would it be?
Well, see, I don't know. It's very tough, especially like not even from like an artistic standpoint, but like just a storytelling standpoint, because it's like I'm. It's kind of hard to figure out where he like what he's thinking of like what direction he's like going next. So it's just
Yeah.
one of those things of like unless he kind of has like at least a story like mapped out a little bit, like it's kind of hard to be like, all right, like here's this because like the whole like opening up like Dark Continent and things like that, like that's a huge part of the world that like has been that we haven't really explored too much of, and we know about like these certain creatures, and then like one of the I forgot the character's name, but like his name I know his last name is Priest, but like apparently like he has been living for such a long time and things like that. But there's just so many things where it's like unless he has like kind of like it written down like where he wants to go, it's kind of hard to pick that up.
Yeah. So I kind of think, it doesn't necessarily need a full replacement, but maybe someone who can replicate the art style for him, but he can still give the creative executive decisions on
Yeah,
what exactly is going to happen with the story.
yeah, and
Like
I think
it,
that's no, I think that's a
because
great idea. Honestly,
yeah.
like it definitely takes a lot of pressure off him, and then like because once he like has someone that like is kind of working under him, and he like likes the art style that they're doing and stuff, then he can kind of like delegate some things. 'Cause I know like Oda does that with some of his team, like
Oh
he'll
yeah, I
delegate.
remember I forget what arc, does anyone remember what arc it was, but he actually Kishimoto wrote part of a certain One Piece arc.
Um, I know what I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the arc off the top of my head, but like yeah, just things like that, and yeah,
I'm gonna
'cause
at least look it up. One Piece arc did Kishimoto write? The Dressrosa arc.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of these mangakas like are not working like in the best conditions. Like I remember, there's a quote from Kishimoto like when Naruto Shippuden like finished up, and he was like, "I can like finally see like my daughter, like finally go on a walk with my daughter." And it's like that's just crazy that like some of these like the lengths that they have to go to kind of keep pushing out the content they do. Like Oda has a whole separate house from his wife that he just kind of
Yeah.
focuses on like writing One Piece.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think it's clear like yeah, there's like how things are going is weird and like I'm not sure what's up because I'm not that familiar with exactly how the lifestyle of manga writers. And like it always seemed weird because like they all do come off as like people that have been locking themselves in their rooms to do all the manga, which and it does show like they were clearly like spending all their time to themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is. I think for like a decent portion, or at least like for some of the ones kind of like writing those like really long series, like it's basically like you're kind of like isolating yourself to really focus on like pushing things out. Like just think like yes, they'll take breaks. They'll might take like a week off or a month off or things like that. But like it's a lot. It's still a lot of work. Like this next chapter of One Piece will be 1059. And it's just like this man has been working on it since like '97.
Yeah. I think yeah, the with One Piece it's really interesting because like yeah, I think One Piece and I definitely need to have a podcast about that at one point once I like actually get to a reasonable point in One Piece because I'm only on like 150 episode 156. And
Okay.
like it's really interesting though because like I think One Piece has a lot of it's a lot of fun. The characters have a lot of appealing aspects of them. It feels like it feels like all of them are fleshed out even at the very beginning before any of them had backstories. I felt like I already knew them. But yeah, but as for One Piece, as for Hunter x Hunter, I think it's a lot of fun how they do like they do flesh out characters in some way. Like
Hmm.
we see how like important all the characters are. We see the clear we see the clear a clear understanding of just who they are as people and like their uncertainties and what they want to do. And I think it's like as a whole like I don't want this to be like the Hunter x Hunter to fall into basically what I call Takashi's curse of never being able to give a good ending to his creations. I mean, like Yu Yu Hakusho's ending was pretty mediocre, if you ask me.
Well, actually, a fun fact about what Yu Yu Hakusho's like ending, like they wanted him to make it as long as like Naruto and One Piece, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to do it." So he kind of like gave that kind of rushed ending to where it's like, okay, it's done. Like
Yeah.
because there was so much pressure
Yeah,
on him to be like, you got to make this as long as you can.
yeah, definitely. And I feel like if he does continue no, Hunter x Hunter, there is going to be an aspect where like it's gonna wrap like once if he starts, he's going to be writing it. He's going to be writing in the direction of having it end. It's not going to be lasting. I don't think it will. If he comes back, it won't be lasting all that long. In the
Mhm.
grand scheme of everything, he will. So it will naturally feel a little forced of how it ends, but that's not a knock on the anime. It's the anime or manga itself because I get it. Like he wants to just get this conclusion over with. At least we at least deserve a conclusion.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he had he might have already had an idea in mind in how he wants the series to end. And like if he gives us that if he gives us closure, at least we will be satisfied. Like he can retire peacefully, he can spend rest of his time, the rest of his as much as much remaining time as he can with his wife. Like they just live a happy life. Like he's already done more than enough. Like I feel like with a lot of manga, I haven't really seen all that many writers who made like two iconic anime.
Hmm.
Like I guess like I'm sure like you could probably call something out and say like and I'd be look like a fucking idiot. But I feel like with Togashi. Like, I mean, like he has Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, like
Like Yu Yu
yeah, two series
and
that are like extremely popular.
I think like the fact that Yu Yu Hakusho did end is also what constitutes to it being a classic because it didn't have that classic nostalgic feel until like long after it came out when people is like, oh, this is icon, this is just really nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it would have fallen into how like One Piece is, where One Piece has been around since the late '90s.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it is essentially in the same as just as old as Yu Yu Hakusho, but it's not deemed as a classic because it's still going on to the present day.
Isn't Yu Yu Hakusho older though?
Yeah, several years. I'm just saying that like given Yu Yu Hakusho did end as soon as it did a benefit for it to just like go off as like a classic, a nostalgic one, rather than like something that drags on and on forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why.
I don't think we can afford that hate for Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, like I guess like like as I said, like the ending was mediocre, but like I at least understood where it came from, where the idea why he did it, and like given as how his health has been, like let's assume he didn't finish Yu Yu Hakusho. Would Hunter x Hunter have come out?
I mean, that is a decent point, especially like if he would have made it as long as they wanted him to, because it definitely would have been like extremely tough to try to work on two like series at the same time.
Yeah. You know, like maybe he wanted to of course focus on another series because I think they're both very interesting in how they portray their stories. They both have vast differences to them. Like I think that's interesting how Togashi managed to be that versatile with his work. Like not only did he make two very popular mangas, he made them feel all unique in their own way.
I definitely agree with that sentiment because like honestly, I didn't even know at first that like they were written both by Togashi until like later on after I did the watch.
Yeah. Like truthfully, the only way you can notice is the fact that like, oh, both MCs are all green.
Yeah.
Like it's like designer choices and color palettes are like the only thing that really they can all really draw similarities, or maybe similar attire that they wear. That's about it. Yeah, I think it's a whole lot of it's interesting. I know that the anime itself isn't even caught up with the manga because the manga has a whole lot more that happened. But like I feel like if it would be interesting to see what would happen if Togashi managed to finish up the manga, like with however many issues it will take, and then like they bring the anime back and like if they make it a completely different series or if they just pick it back up. I don't know what they do with that. Like how long has it been since the last episode of the anime?
I think the last episode of the anime was probably. Hold on. I want to say 2016, but I feel like it was earlier.
Yeah, it might have been. But like it feels like it will be like over a decade before Hunter x Hunter comes back as an anime.
I definitely think the anime will take like I do agree it's going to take a while for it to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, I'm looking at the release date. So it says the final episode was September 24th, 2014.
Yeah, it's been almost 8 years since the last official anime episode of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Like I just can't help but think, what if this entire time, instead of going on hiatus, they just did a whole filler. It's all filler.
Well, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like when you learn about the rest of the world, like where like you have the last scene. So spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Hunter x Hunter listening to this. But like last episode where Gon and his father are up in that tree, and he's talking to Gon about like, oh, this actually isn't the tallest tree in the world. It's like a sapling. And he tells him about like the actual largest tree in the world and like about the whole Dark Continent. It really feels like the prologue of a book almost. It feels like we just like read that like, brief intro.
I'll say this real quick. So I'll say this real quick. I'm gonna just say this is that if like they just come out with just straight filler episodes, their fans are still gonna call it goated.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally, yeah. I mean, some of us just want more Hunter x Hunter. I mean, like, yeah, like everyone here is like every single Hunter x Hunter fan is universally bitter about the fact that it's been on hiatus. Like, there's not much we can really do about it, and it sucks because like it feels like Togashi is on his last set of legs, which he might very well be. And like we know that if he pressures himself into doing the artwork and stuff like that, it will actually worsen his condition to the point that it will be like he could very easily die from it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, some people like, and it's very frustrating when you see some of the. I had like a comment in my comment section, like talking about like some stuff, like oh, he did it to himself, like playing all those like video games and all this other stuff, but like people just don't understand the extent of like his condition. Like,
I mean, he sat in his desk all day drawing and writing manga. Like, it's more than just video games.
Exactly.
Simply working at the desk, like simply working at the desk will cause an equivalent issue with your back.
And then that's nothing. Like, someone else was talking about like comparing it to like I think Berserk's manga who had like a disease or something, and I'm like, okay, like you also have to understand the severity of back problems. Like, if like people who have back problems, like you have to get back surgeries, like that affects your whole body. Like, it's not just like, oh, like my back's messed up. If your back messed up, like it makes it hard to do anything. I have a coworker and a friend that both have had multiple back surgeries, and there's a lot of stuff. Like, there's some days where they can't even move because their back's in so much pain. And like Togashi even mentioned, like he couldn't even like there's some days he couldn't even wipe himself
because his back that's crazy. Like I feel bad like that. I mean, that would suck. Like, and I mean, just imagine like the moment of like being like with how he like his like. Can you imagine like I'm just thinking to myself, how would that have to be with his wife? I mean, just to quick like. I mean, it's like that's the thing with marriage. Is like at one point when as a married couple, you get to a certain age when like one of them has to wipe the ass of the other. It's like, yeah, but that actually becomes a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I obviously like I pity both of them because like because I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so now or I don't even know how to pronounce her first name, Naoko or. If I said that right, I probably butchered that. Like, she's probably going through a lot of pressure herself because, she's losing her husband. Like, her husband is not doing well. And, like, she's been, as far as I know, she's been pretty long retired. Like, she's been settling down, but he hasn't, and he's still trying to push himself.
Oh, yeah, because, she wrote, like, she created Sailor Moon, like, She's literally said she does not have to work again.
Yeah. And I think, Sailor Moon is another absolute classic. Like, I started watching a little bit of it, and it's really fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, there's an aspect where I went into, a lot of us fans want the anime to continue and the manga to continue. But at the same time, given his condition, I think he really does need to prioritize his time with his family.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree because and I'm saying this as a huge fan of Hunter x Hunter. Like, I really enjoy Hunter x Hunter, and I would love to see it come back. But yeah, like I said earlier, I want him to prioritize his life, his family, his health, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's a really unfortunate circumstance, and like it's difficult because I know he also feels the pressure of not wanting to disappoint his fans. He knows there are a lot of diehard Hunter x Hunter fans out there that just are just praying for the manga to come back. So that's why like he's been trying to make 10 more chapters. It
Yeah.
sucks. I think one that I think in a circumstance which I feel like could be considered similar is High School of the Dead. How the lead right how the one of the co-writers the main co-writer had serious health conditions, so the manga was put on pause, and eventually he passed away. So like they didn't really want to continue at all with the
Hmm.
manga or the anime, which is again unfortunate. Like I've just watched High School of the Dead, and it was really fucking good. And like I've been trying to look for the manga as well, but the manga does not sell. Like they do not they do not print more copies of the manga because of the fact that the writer died. And like I think that's like an unfortunate circumstance. Again, an unfortunate circumstance, and that's something that I think as fans we might be worried about with Hunter x Hunter, where like once he dies, like if they stop printing more copies, so it becomes harder to find the manga.
I
And
mean,
like
it very well could happen. Like,
yeah, like I think Togashi should not be pressuring himself, should not put too much pressure on himself. Like do whatever he feels is best. If he wants to continue the manga, then he totally go for it. But don't, as I said, don't put too much pressure on himself because that could very well worsen his own condition. And overall, I think like everyone, like I think yeah, everyone's praying for the best because like because he's shown to be a hard worker. He's shown that he cares about his fans. He's done it. He's done his best to make, and he's accomplished a lot with like considering, as I said, he has two very popular. He has two very popular manga behind his name that are not
yeah,
connected in the same verse.
yeah, I
Like
definitely agree.
it's. I think
I
it's yeah.
just,
It. Oh,
I was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say like another thing that like I also like enjoy about Hunter x Hunter is it doesn't always focus on the MC like in a sense of like like the entire story we're not always following them because we have the
Yeah.
parts um in York New City and then or like a little before York New City, and then also like there's an arc after where it's focusing more on oh my god, I forget his name. Oh my god.
With Karapika.
Yeah, yeah. I can't believe I forgot his name. Goodness gracious. But yeah, like arcs that
I
are
mean, it's not as
focusing
bad as
more
me.
on
I keep accidentally referring to Karapika as she because I've always because like at the start I was convinced that Karapika was a girl.
we all did.
I mean, it's even a female voice actress, and like it's not like a thing where it's like Gon is a kid, so it makes sense they use a female voice actress. Like Karapika's an actual like teenager or like
Yeah.
so I don't know. That was always funny. But yeah, Karapika's story was really interesting. I thought it was cool the whole
Karapika as a concept was taken from Sasuke.
true,
Well,
but
well,
I would go as far as to
well.
argue I think they did it slightly better.
Kurapika came out first.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Then Sasuke is taken from Karapika. Shut up.
You had to admit you were wrong.
I'm not. I'm not gonna shy away from me being wrong. I'm just not wrong a lot.
I mean, sometimes you say outrageous shit.
Josky, do you
I
have
do
them
say
somewhere?
outrageous things, but then I explain them, and you're like, okay, fair.
No, like Chemist, you got to understand, Abba. If you get to talk, if you start getting to know Abba, you'll come to find that in a lot of ways, he's a mini me.
Dang, I feel like that was. I don't know if that was a compliment, Josky. That you,
Like he's
Yeah,
a
I don't.
mini
I
me
don't
for
know how I feel
me.
about that statement.
yeah,
Oh no,
I was saying,
you have your
I don't
moments.
know about
You have
that.
your moments where you're just completely chaotic for the sake of being chaotic. and you just say the most absurd shit. Like, no, I think you sometimes are a mini Miaba.
When
Like,
it
I'm not
comes
saying that as an
to
insult.
let's be real though. When it comes to comic takes, I don't have many bad ones. You can't deny that.
Because you don't have any. Like, you have like 3. You have like 3 super safe ones. Oh yeah, make fun of Batman because Batman is because Batman is poorly written at times and the
Batman
Batman
shit.
fans suck. Or like
I have
talking about
back up.
martial arts.
Well, yeah, there's also martial arts. But like, no, hold on. I have more takes than that. We just usually just skim over them. Like when we were talking about I don't mean to get too far off topic because this is a Hunter x Hunter episode, but let's say when we were talking about Thor versus Green Lantern, and I was basically arguing the fact that the thing is, if Thor could get like 2 or 3 hits on Hal with the hammer, then yes, Hal's going down, and you were like, sure,
Yeah.
but if it's like I have
Yeah.
takes. I just don't usually get into them. But when I do have them, you can't really admit there are very few of them that are
Well,
bad.
yeah. I mean, but like, no, I agreed with you at the time because I think that a fight between Hal Jordan and Thor is the winner is dependent on what type of fight we're talking about. If it's a close range fight, then Thor wins. But if it's long range, then Hal wins because Hal has the long range advantage, whereas Thor has the close range advantage. Because
Yes.
like Hal can attack Thor from a distance. Like it's very easy for him to do it. And like we do like throughout the entirety of assessing the debates with other people and like it was concluded Hal has significantly better durability than Thor, but Thor does have Thor does have slightly better AP due to the fact that he has a better inventory of the fact that his physical strength matches his AP with Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
But Hal overall has a higher inventory of attacks he can use because his land because like his ability ring is essentially a no limit fallacy of its own of like he can do literally whatever he can make literally whatever he thinks of.
Yeah, but he insists on making machine guns.
Okay, man, don't disrespect machine guns. It's just that he goes with like giant fists and plasma beams.
Yeah.
That's
It's no, but usually that's how Hal Jordan is that he has 2 settings. He has plasma beams, he has the giant fist, or he has one big ass minigun that he refuses to put down.
or airplanes.
That too, but
he does use airplanes a lot.
military. It really shows he's ex-military, which he is. He was in the Air Force.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's not his creativity that was the thing. Like that's Kyle Rayner, where Kyle Rayner has like much more creative constructs. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I mean, if you ask me between Kyle Rayner and Thor who wins, it's obviously Kyle because Kyle's even stronger than Hal. Like he beat a Hal Jordan when he was amped up by Parallax.
Yes, I'm not going to argue that at all.
At the time, they're like. Now, I will say that with that particular instance, like it's a little weird because, like, at the time, Parallax was never really an amp per se, other than like he has an infinite battery. But it was at the time it was essentially that it was still Hal's power. Like he wasn't being amped; he was just being possessed. And so, but after the retcon, it was like, oh, he also got amped with power. He was even stronger. So it's like, okay, now that's even crazier because now we have to accept that Kyle beat an amped Hal Jordan. But yeah, but back to Hunter x Hunter because
we're going off. We're going off track.
So Hunter x
and
Hunter,
that's my bad.
I think Hunter x Hunter is really interesting with how the story goes around. I like how Nen is extremely balanced. How like every skill you learn, you also have to sacrifice other. It's a choice. The choice is cost reward.
Yeah.
And we see that very well with when Castro fought Hisoka. Like Castro focused way too much on Nen abilities that he's not native to, and like rather than his own. And as a result, Hisoka was able to exploit that. Had he focused more on his natural abilities, he would have beat Hisoka.
Yeah, it's definitely Yeah, it definitely is interesting. That's one thing I do like enjoy like about like any power system where it's like yes, like you can elevate to like certain levels of power, but there is that big trade off. Kind of like with Gon, where he like wanted basically all the power he would ever have in his life in that moment, and like you see like all the pain that it put in his body.
Yeah. And I think like obviously with the character of Gon, like he's never quite looking too carefully at the long term of things. Like he's always just like in the moment to just make whatever decision. And sometimes like he doesn't fully think through the consequences, which is an interesting aspect where like he's not a character that has a lot of internal conflict that's holding him back. He rather easily learns stuff like with no problem. He's not like the typical ADHD type of protagonist who's just whiny as shit, but also extremely has the most potential out of everyone. Like he's like that. Like Gon isn't even the most strongest in his verse, or considered to be. I mean, I guess you could say he's considered to be like has a extremely high potential, but so is Killua.
You know, I don't know. Like Gon is also like it's very interesting because they you almost kind of get sucked in and into like the portrayal of Gon being like a very innocent kind of child in the beginning. And then, like
Yeah,
as you go on, especially starting off in Greed Island and moving forward from there, you kind of see the manipulative and like psychotic side of him.
yeah.
That's
I
one of
mean,
those
he
things like
literally like I mean, he got Killua hurt over like just trying to do shit. It's like, dude, bro, that's pretty fucked up.
yeah, and that's the
Like
thing,
he
like
put
and there was like someone else that was perfectly capable of doing that job at the time, but he was like, no, it's gonna be Killua. Like not like, no, I want Killua to do this because he's my friend or whatever. He's like he basically said like, no, Killua is doing this. And Killua
yeah.
was like, okay.
Like I certainly don't think that's a knock on Gon's character. I think that is what makes him interesting as a character of how, as I said, like he has resolve, but he lacks personal direction or personal goals. I think that's very well portrayed when he hears the videotape of his dad telling him, like warning him in advance, like if you are only pursuing finding me for this just because it would be pretty nice to meet my dad, then don't watch the rest of this video. Don't come looking for me. Like I
Yeah.
think that was a reassurance. Like, dude, you like this is more than just oh, I just want to like see you a bit and just see like get up to date with each other's lives and see what's up. Like no, like this is a serious commit. Like you'd have to be committed fully to this, and there has to be more. You can't just have a shallow reasoning of oh, I just want to see my dad.
Well, it's kind of like listening to like his earlier ambitions in the story, like because his like thing was never like because he never like specifically said that he wanted to like meet his dad. He said his first goal that he mentioned was he want to take the hunter exam because he wants to know what is so great about being a hunter that his father left. So he wants
Yeah,
to understand what it truly means to be a hunter, to like understand like, oh, my father left me with his cousin to be a hunter, like to like go explore and to like do like hunter things. So like, what is it? What is that thing about being a hunter that makes you want to basically abandon your child?
I'm surprised his cousin went like his cousin especially was super chill about it too because it's like dude in no circumstances that like you left your kid to go treasure hunting with the boys essentially. I'm referring to a TikTok video actually. I don't know if you've seen it. It was like that one guy who's known for his Lord of the Rings content. He did like Father's Day ratings for Middle Earth characters, and he brought up whoever that guy was. Went in like he would ditch his family to go treasure hunting with the boys, but he did stick up for his kid when other kids call him ugly. But it's like he went treasure hunting with the boys. I need to go. I need to send you that video, Camus. You'd fucking love it.
Yeah, but no, that's seriously like what basically happened. Like because his father obviously loves being a hunter, and like we still haven't fully seen why just yet. Like obviously there's the added perks and stuff, but like his father doesn't really do it for some of those perks. Like one of the perks of like, oh, if you sell your hunter license, your family's set for life. Like I'm telling you,
Yeah.
that'd be one of the things I'd consider doing because like
Yeah.
I got
Well, I
bills
mean,
and I got things I want to do.
yeah, their lives, his life was pretty much set already because like he doesn't have to pay for a lot of shit. Like transportation is free, a lot of shit is free and accessible to him,
Yeah, and he
and
can
like
go most places that people can't go.
given like I mean I guess we don't necessarily see like exactly the scaling of how much normal necessities cost compared to the amount of shit they buy that's like millions. But
Mhm.
like I think it's still like telling that it's like they money was not necessarily the issue because they're buying all this unnecessary shit for the sake of like, oh, go it because it's like, oh, getting Greed Island and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like oh yeah, that's another thing. Like him and his friends just casually creating Greed Island.
Like that, yeah, like I feel like I mean like yeah, that is like the worst father in the world because of just how he abandons his own son. Like
It's
I
like
think like I don't think anyone should not be deny. I don't think anyone can deny that. Like that's like a horrible father, and the fact that like Gon's trying to follow in his footsteps, like dude, that is do not follow in that man's footsteps.
you know, I'm
Like
just
he left
curious
his
on
family
like
behind.
what he's going to like try to think of what that goal is. Like, what are we going to see? That's like, oh, like this is it. This is the thing. It makes sense now of why he left because this is what it means to be a hunter. I'm very curious on like what that idea or that concept is going to be.
Yeah, I mean that would totally be really interesting. Is like they're finally splitting. Like, what is it about Hunter being a hunter that's so great? And like I think we see throughout the entirety of the series, like most hunters are like this is an entire lifestyle. Like they are just doing all this shit, and then as you said, like they're pretty much already set, but they keep doing shit.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's so much like varieties of hunters too, because like you have gourmet hunters, you have like
Yeah,
the blacklist hunters, the like merciless assassins, and all type of stuff. So there's so many different types of hunters as well. But like, I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like maybe it's just the exploration of just discovering new things. That might be why his dad does it, but I don't know. I think it's more than that.
yeah, I get that. I think yeah, it's really interesting. Uh, like dude, like what? Yeah, I think it's like the mystery of like, ooh, what's so great about being a hunter? Well, I guess yeah, you get the perks of being set in life. You get you basically have a license to kill. Like they don't really like they don't seem nobody seems to give a shit when you kill people as a hunter. It's just all kinds of shit that it's like, damn, like this war like the fucking verse is insane.
It really is, and like, oh, another interesting thing. Also, you learn that the chimera ants aren't even the most dangerous things from the Dark Continent.
Really?
Oh yeah, they were mentioned like there's at least 5 other things that are a lot worse than the chimera ants.
Interesting. I need to look. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Or just
Yeah,
how
I saw someone do a breakdown of. If I find that video, I have to send it to you.
all right. Yeah, I just sent you the Lord of the Rings one because I think you'll fucking love it.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
here's
yeah.
one. Like, wait, no, what were you saying?
So yeah, I think overall, but yeah, with the way the series is going, hopefully we get some of those answers. Hopefully, you know, like as I said, like Togashi, I think Togashi should totally take his time to focus on his own health before like trying to jump into getting committed to manga. So like even if like the answers might feel a little rushed, they might feel a lot of things, but like like I'm willing to give him sympathy, of course, like of the fact that like the given his condition, like if it feels a little, it's it's gonna feel rushed. It's going to feel like a lot of this stuff it's out of nowhere, and like that he just had to jump straight to the ending. Maybe he doesn't answer everything, but like I do hope for the best for Togashi, that his health does get to a point where he can focus back on Hunter x Hunter, and in the way that he envisions it to, in
Yeah.
the way he envisions. Because like yeah, he's really a phenomenal manga writer and artist who like not like who as well has achieved a lot within his career, and it would be really, it would suck to see him die like from like working too hard.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think just like we might as well get our final thoughts out on the situation and like what we want to see with Hunter x Hunter, or what we hope to see later on. Like, might as well start Abba, because you've been pretty quiet.
I have been pretty quiet because I'm definitely not the most knowledgeable person on Hunter x Hunter in this live.
You told me
Um,
like you're the anime you're most knowledgeable the one you're most knowledgeable in is Sailor Moon, right?
yes.
I mean, no
Oh, wait.
disrespect. No
Sorry.
disrespect. It's just that Sailor Moon is like to be like the Sailor Moon like an expert at Sailor Moon. That's interesting. Like, it's not something I would expect from you.
Is there anything you would expect from me, John?
I don't know, you to be more like me, because you're basically a mini me.
Jeez, you keep saying that, and I feel like you're trying to say it as a compliment, but it does. It's not.
It really doesn't, bro.
I mean, no, I'm not necessarily. It's both like a compliment and an insult.
And no, I think it's just an
I can see
insult.
that.
I don't think there's no compliment to it.
Yeah.
Oh goodness
I mean,
gracious.
technically,
I
you
don't-
started it. I plea insanity.
Oh,
I
jeez.
plea self-defense and insanity.
That's nice. Well, so what was asked of me to start on?
Like what you're hoping for with Hunter x Hunter, like given what you like, however much you've seen, or however much you know about it, like however deeply you've analyzed it or whatever. Because like I know there's people like Doron who like extremely like deeply analyzed the characters on a psychological level. So like I mean, I know like yeah, like that's Doron. Like not many people go as deep as he does. So like just like based on like how familiar you are with Hunter x Hunter, like what you think hope to see, or what you think is going to happen, what you hope, and what you like anticipate.
I really honestly don't know. I can't really think of something off the top of my head. I'm gonna honestly, Hunter x Hunter is never really that much an anime I've had that much of thought about, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't know why you believed I was the prime person to put in a live primarily about Hunter x Hunter, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, to be fair, like Kakashi was not able to join, and also like you said you knew some of Hunter x Hunter, so I was like, okay, some is enough.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've seen a rather unimpressive amount of the anime, but
That's fine. I mean,
I've
it's
seen about
like,
halfway into season 2, so
no, that's at least good. I mean, you got pretty far. Yeah, but like, how about you? How about you, Chemist?
Oh, like what I'm like excited to see from Hunter x Hunter.
What you're excited to see? What you hope for, especially moving forward, if Togashi decides to continue the manga, if he does go through with the next 10 chapters, if he afterwards does more, like what you're hoping for.
See, this is tough just because like I mentioned earlier, like there's so many like directions. It's like kind of hard to like what's going to happen next in the story. I will say, like, okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler because I was like reading about this one character, so I'm pulling up some stuff from chapter 344 of the manga. And like I said, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but like it talks about like someone who has been traveling the Dark Continent and like wrote basically a book, kind of like mapping things out. And they said that like it was done 300 years ago, and this person like is still alive to this day. And they said like they claim that he's like, still writing it and things like that. And the author of the book is Don Freese, so it might be like some type of ancestor to like Jean and Gon. So I'm very interested to see that character if we ever do meet them. If like that character is apparently still alive to this day.
What are the chances there's a plot twist that Jean is actually Dawn?
Oh geez, that. Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
I know, right? That would be crazy, but also it would be fucking like it would be wild.
Mm.
But it would
See,
also make a lot of sense if you think about it. Like for him to have been around all that long, and then he finally settled down, had a kid, and then he like turns away because it's like, look, he's immortal or something, and he just doesn't really have anything. He doesn't want to just have the burden of like he's gonna have to watch Gon die or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would be an interesting theory to make. Like, what if Dawn Freaks is actually Jean?
I mean, yeah, you never know, but it's definitely like an interesting like thought, and like I am kind of curious. Like when I like first heard that character mentioned, I was like, wait, hold on, I need to start reading the manga, which I actually do need to read the manga.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like it's like interesting. I know about like what happens with one particular character, but I don't want to spoil that for anyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think glad we all got our thoughts out. I know, it's been like we got off the we broke the I broke the hiatus of the podcast with part 2 of Hunter x Hunter. The Hunter x Hunter episode.
You
I thought
broke
it
the
was perfect.
hiatus with Hunter x Hunter talking some random motherfucker who didn't say shit. Me. That's me.
No, you brought up the Thor and Green Lantern.
Yes, that's what I brought up. With something with no relevance to Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. I'm glad
the entire time it was Hunter x Hunter, and then I was like, "Hey, John, remember that discussion?"
Yeah.
Oh,
that's on you. Like as I said, I never disagreed with you on that. I made it clear Thor in a close range fight with Hal Jordan would win. But like Hal's advantage would be keeping his distance, which he can do. They're relative in speed. Like people try to use like fights that are like out of context. Like, dude, plank time is not shit. Like, okay, Hal's gone it. Hal nearly entered the Speed Force. Like that doesn't really mean shit.
That's I mean, okay, well we can get. I mean, that's more of movement speed than anything. If we're talking about combat speed versus movement speed, but yeah, I'll say this. I'd say they are about maybe relative in terms of like combat and
relative,
reaction speed.
I mean, yeah, but also the point, like Hal did catch Zoom after Zoom beat the crap out of Superman and Wonder Woman. So like, yeah, it's difficult. That's unquantifiable, but at the same time, like given like Zoom just basically blitzed Superman and Wonder Woman. Like I think that's worth noting. It's like. Plus, lanterns do have some fairly good speed negation. But yeah, that's aside the point. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap up the podcast. Not glad. For anyone who watching, thanks for joining. See you hopefully next week, assuming I don't go into another hiatus. And yeah, we're like, so you guys, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok of John Ski. that just like Chemist, if you want to tell people where they can find you, same thing with you, Abba.
You can find me as the Chemist 9618 on Instagram and TikTok,
Oh, Abbott.
and eventually on YouTube.
All right. Yeah, Abbott just left. Okay. And yeah.